Hello. So today we're going to be watering the indoor hydroponic tomatoes for the third time. I actually made a mistake in the last update. I said we were at the 9-week point and 63 days in, which 9 weeks is 63 days, but we were actually at the 7-week point. I did say we started them on July 4th and that it was August 23rd, and that is not 9 weeks. So I just want to correct myself. Now we're at the 9-week point and it is the 4th of September. But regardless, this is our third time watering. In our previous updates, I've mixed up the solution and I've talked about everything in great detail. And we're going to be doing a lot of those same things today. So I don't want to repeat myself too much. We already mixed up our nutrient solution and we did a larger batch this time, similar to the last time we watered. So it should be testing out to about 2.8, where we normally test out to around 2.1. Last time we watered, we were able to bring these up to 2.1 EC, and this time we're going to try them bring them up to 2.5 if we can. I went through and tested them all already, and we have 1.4, 1.7, 2.1, and 2.4. The biggest ones ate the most and drank the most. So if we check their water levels, they're all at this point. I had to go through and add a little bit of fresh water to the two large ones yesterday and the day before, just to buy us some time until we made the video. But all their water levels are at the same point, just not at the same EC. So we're going to go through and add our nutrient water and see if we can get that up to 2.5. Pretty soon we're going to have to top them because they're getting too tall. I did want to show some of our suckers that we've been keeping, that we've been stunting, so we can get a bigger yield off of some of our plants. We've been mainly keeping them to one main stem though. All those suckers that we are keeping are disadvantaged and we're only keeping a few. So some people bring up that you don't need to prune your tomatoes, and outdoors in some climates you don't have to. And you don't always have to prune your tomatoes, but I've grown tomatoes for 2 years and didn't prune one that was 11 feet tall and 6 feet wide, and I talked about it a little bit. And it didn't really produce that many tomatoes or flower that much, since I keep them at 8 hours around 70 degrees with no environmental changes. So removing the suckers helps as an environmental change and helps them keep focus on their yield and not cloning themselves and getting larger and making more themselves. Since I tried to grow tomatoes without pruning them at all indoors and without changing the environmental factors, and keeping them to one main stem is turning out to be far more successful, and that's why I recommend it indoors. And even outdoors, I see a lot of outdoor growers also keep them to one main stem or two main stems as they get taller. So it's a very common thing in the industry that people do as well. So I just like to try and give different options of what we can do with them and try and push the limits of what we can do with them. Since we are overcrowded in here, some of these have up to 6 tomatoes in each bucket. And I normally probably would recommend only 1 or 2 tomatoes in each bucket, but I like to try and push the limits on what we can do. The tomato black cherry are my favorite because we're getting about 18 tomatoes per cluster, and there's clusters all over, up and down it. And the rest of them all seem to be doing clusters of 8. We are going to top them soon. I just saw someone asked if I wear any eye protection. I do have some sunglasses around. When I'm in here for a while, I do recommend some eye protection, but when I'm filming, I don't like to wear them or anything like that, and it doesn't usually take too long to work on the plants and be in here, and I don't look directly at them or anything. I try to look away from them, you'll see sometimes. So yeah, definitely would recommend some sunglasses or something, but I don't know, I think it'd be a little weird if I was filming with them. But I do want to make sure that I have our links down below to all of our hydroponic gear we affiliate for. I see you guys have been checking it out, and I really appreciate your support. We also have some discount codes for grow lights, grow tent, and grow tent kits. Also, these do dim, and I dim them when I'm in here. These Mars Hydro ones are the ones I recommend and are really nice, so that I don't go blind a little bit more. But I don't want this video to take too long, so we're going to get right into watering and finish up and retest. It tested out to 2.8. I let the soot settle to the bottom of the bucket. I would recommend a mask or gloves still at this point if you smell it too much or come in contact with it. We're going to have to add more to the 1.4 and 1.7 than we are to the 2.6. We're going to start with the lower ones first We might have to make another batch. When we're done adding the water, we'll test it and see what they've come up to, just to try and give you guys good detail on how we get that 2.5 EC from mixing our nutrient water, and if we had to add a little fresh water at the end to dilute it down if we're a little higher than that 2.5. It's always best to add a little nutrient water first and then fresh water after. However, if you are in a pinch with watering though and you can't get to nutrient water today, like I said, you can always add a little bit of fresh water like we did with these a couple days ago to extend them today, just because plants drink more than they eat. You don't want to let them dry out, and you can always come back and add some more nutrients later. So I'm going to go through and add these now. Here at the first bucket, this one was at 1.7. The water level was right here. We just added nutrient water up to right here and retested. We're at 2.1. We'd like to get up to 2.5, but anywhere between 2.1 and 2.5 is good. We're going to fill the rest up with nutrient water up to here and just retest to show you real quick. I just finished filling it up. We're at 2.4, which is perfect. We're going to go to the next one. We're on the second one. You can see this one was at like 1.4. Water level's right there. We're going to add all the way up to the top with nutrient water, since if the 1.7 only tested out to 2.4 by the top, I'm assuming that we won't get to 2.5 here, probably only 2.3. So we'll fill it up and just test real quick to show you. Alright, so we just filled the second bucket all the way up with nutrient water and tested it out. It's at 2.3, about what we expected. So we're on the third bucket. This one's at 2.4, so we're going to add about 50-50. We're going to add nutrient water first and then retest just to show, and then probably have to add fresh water remaining. We'll see though. So here we are, nutrient water up to 2.8 it's about. So I guess we're going to add a little bit more nutrient water, probably to right here, and then probably finish off with fresh water, probably just another inch of nutrient water. So I did another little inch of nutrient water. I'm going to add fresh water now and then retest it. So I added that extra inch of nutrient water like I said I was gonna, and then finished off with fresh and tested out to 2.6. So I guess we could have not added that extra inch of nutrient water and just added fresh there. Either way, 2.6 is good. So last one, you can see it's at 2.6. We just tested it out. We're going to add nutrient water probably up to like right here-ish, retest, and then see. We're probably going to have to add fresh water from right here and up. Alright, so you can see it's at 2.7 now. I have actually just a little bit of nutrient water remaining, probably just about an inch of nutrient water remaining in my bucket, and that will have been 2 buckets of nutrient water this time watering. So I'm just going to probably add the remaining inch I have and then finish off with fresh, and we'll retest again. Alright, so we just filled it up all the way, tested it, it's at 2.5, which is perfect. So everybody's all watered. So we just finished watering them. Everyone's at about 2.4 to 2.5. We used only 2 buckets of nutrient water. Last time we watered, I believe it was 3. And the first time we watered, I believe it was 2. I urge you check out the previous update videos of us watering and taking care of them. If you have any questions, I likely have covered it or talked about it at some point, and I just don't want to repeat myself. We started them at 1 EC, the second time brought them up to 1.7, the third time 2.1, and now the fourth time. Oh, because the first time is when we set them up. The first time doesn't necessarily count. We start all of our plants at 1 EC. We're going to be starting some new plants in here soon. We don't always document us watering these plants and what goes on with these plants. They don't drink nearly as often, depending on the size and what they are. We did make a video of us setting these up. But we're going to be starting some more in here soon because I actually planted the wrong plant. I thought that this was raspberry. The seeds I bought were raspberry, but it turned out to be a mock strawberry. And mock strawberries are terrible. They taste really bad. And not like this white strawberry, which tastes like candy and is really good and has hundreds of berries all over it, but they come out kind of small because white strawberries are a little smaller. Turned out to be a mock strawberry, which is like not unedible, but pretty terrible. And I planted 3 of them. So those are just all going to go, and we're going to start some new ones. So there's going to be some more videos of us starting some plants, but I'd just like to document everything that goes on with some plants that require a little more maintenance, and to show you guys all the start to finish processes that I can as much as possible. So be on the lookout for our merch. We're going to have it dropping soon. and we don't have that much in stock. If you guys like the sunglasses, let me know. Maybe I'll wear them more often if it somehow becomes a thing or a theme. For now, we have our hydroponic plants playlist. If this is on YouTube, it's on Facebook. You just can't click it. You can subscribe for more or what YouTube thinks is best for you. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.